All right. Welcome, everybody. It's Michael McIntyre and McIntyre Inc. And we're enjoying today. It's a great day. And I hope you're having a great morning, afternoon, or evening. Or maybe you're on a treadmill. Maybe you're on the Pilates deal or the reformer. Is that what it's
Yeah,
got?
good
The
job,
Pilates
good
deal,
job.
the reformer, or Peloton, or just walking, or having a morning cigarette, or whatever's going on in your life, right? Welcome to the podcast. And with my co-host and my amazing, beautiful daughter and chief operating officer of everything we do, Brianna. Good morning.
Good morning.
We got our coffee.
We have our honey citrus mint tea.
Yeah, well, I got dark.
And I do have a dark waiting for me.
Just in case for my
Just in
backup.
case.
That's nice.
Or for mine.
And we got the head honcho in here this morning, Michael, who owns the studio, who's actually doing our producing today. And our good buddy Devin is on out there doing some comedian things, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So we're in good hands with Michael, although he hasn't done this in several years. So, so we'll figure it out. But I did the Never Woke live deal last night. That was kind of cool and crazy.
Yeah.
And that was fun. We were talking about what we want to talk about this morning, and you came up with some really good ideas. So share.
Great. Okay. Well, it's interesting with the Never Woke thing in response, because hearing about his journey last night, how he went from just different entrepreneurial opportunities, and then he fully went into social media. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So that's a really interesting transition.
Yeah.
And so it's something that we're talking about, starting new things, beginning again in businesses, and what that looks like, and how it's a really beautiful process. It can be very painful. It can
I don't know
be-
about beautiful.
Well, it's beautiful in the sense of like, yeah, I mean, beautiful if you look at it, not like it's not all fun.
Yeah, listen, for the entrepreneur, for the one writing the checks or doing the wire transfers, it's not beautiful.
Okay.
But
It's
let me
like,
but
go ahead.
so anyways, I think what's beautiful is when the damn thing works.
Well,
okay, and you get
yes.
money coming in. It's like, thank you, Jesus. It actually works. It's kind of, making something from whole cloth. But one of the questions last night was about, how should we when do you borrow money, or how do you start up a new thing? And let me just tell you this, none of it's easy. People, you see these things online where people are making $1 million a month, $300,000 a month, $25,000 a month. And while they're eating their cupcakes and their bobo drink, it's not true. Okay.
Boba.
Boba, whatever it is, that drink your mother likes. Anyways, that's it's most of it's not true. What happens is, there's a grind.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've got to formulate this grind. You got to come up with it. And let me just tell you this, whatever you come up in the first 30 days is not going to look anything like you got done in a year. So don't be attached to it. Don't fall in love. Whoops. Don't fall in love with your business card. Don't fall in love with your whiteboard, because it will change. And we've started 2 new deals, right? We've got 2 new deals going. We actually started 3, the digital asset solutions.
Archive.
Same thing. What happened to that, Brianna?
I don't know.
What do you mean, what if you did know?
I mean, I could, I think that I could be really, like, I just don't feel like it took off, because
No kidding.
there was not a willingness to kind of do the hard part of,
We didn't have the right people in the right spot.
Right.
That's number one. And I don't know if the marketplace is ready for it. And I just think I don't know. But it didn't work. It was a face plant. We didn't put tons of money into this thing.
Yeah,
but we put a lot of time into it.
Yeah, and even then, I think that, that's what I mean. Going back to the statement of like, it's beautiful. It's not like beautiful in the sense of this is all so much fun. Like, because it's not. It actually really sucks.
It's a lot of work.
I have to be honest. Like, starting a new, and then it's like, okay, you got to get your mind.
Well, I
wrapped
texted you a list this morning, right?
Yeah.
And that's just on one of the things we're doing. How many's on that list?
Like
8 things, 8, 9 things.
And
right?
so that is fine, and it will be doable. You'll do it over time, but it's the thing that's hard is like, okay, so why I feel like that other business didn't work was because it wasn't we didn't have the right person who wanted to go and put themselves out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so that's a really big issue.
Right.
And if your business is reliant upon someone being the face of it and no one's willing to be the face, it's not that we weren't willing at all. It's just we didn't have time. That wasn't our part of the business.
And we didn't expect this business to be a $1 million a month business.
It was just like a
side hustle.
Side hustle.
That, maybe it produced 4 or 5, 6 grand a month type deal.
Yeah.
So, but it didn't work.
No.
And so, which is fine.
It is okay.
So, most businesses, how do you say it?
Statistically.
Thank you. Fail in the first year. Okay. Like 80%.
Right.
And so, and the only way to get to success and the byproduct of failure is success. So you've got to go through these things. We did, one of the things we did research and we needed that product for ourselves.
Yes.
Right. We had 40 years of videos and documents and everything else. So most of the money that we invested in, which was a few $1,000s, was for our benefit.
Right.
And then we used that instrument for possibly other things, which it may or may not ever come back around.
It could.
But anyways, we shelved it and it's no big deal, right?
Yeah.
So now, for those that want to start a business, if you're an entrepreneur, I think you asked the question before we came on camera was, what about if you're working 9 to 5, 8 to 6, whatever? How do you find time to start that side hustle?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how do you think they find time? Because you're juggling a lot of things. Plus, so you've got a, next level experience, McIntyre Inc, all these things. And then all of a sudden say, hey, Brianna, we're going to start an insurance agency again. All right. So how do you find the time? Well, how do you schedule yourself around this?
Well, something I think within the business realm has to go. So there's something that has to like kind of be let off. And so I think I think we've made that decision on some things where a project I was working on for a little while, and it was kind of a redirect, a big redirect for the company, for McIntyre Inc.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was working on that for a little bit. And
the AI stuff.
It was that AI, but then membership things like that.
Oh yeah. Well, which was all that whole thing.
Right.
And we spent money on that too.
We did. And so the point is though that we had to make a decision within our team of that's got to go. Yeah,
and we just made that decision pretty
recently
too.
This week.
Yeah, and I think you and your mother were really happy about that.
We were. Because I did not see it producing the fruit.
Yeah, that we needed. That we expected.
Would have been necessary to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, that's true. And so, all right. So I think one of the things that, I tell people when we're coaching them is, you got to be a member of the 5-Handle Club, right? And what is the 5-Handle Club? It's getting up every morning between 5 a.m. and 5:55 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I do. Yesterday I got up at 4 o'clock. This morning I got up at 5:10. And I don't even set a clock alarm. I just wake up.
So, but I want to go back to the question you asked me. How do you make time if you are in like that season of life? Right. So one is 5.
Yeah. So how do you make time? Do you want to answer that question?
No, I'm asking
you want me to answer?
No.
I thought you were.
I'm like,
I want to go back to that question and give you a great answer, Dan.
No, gosh, I don't feel like I have a great answer.
All right. So I feel like I guess the answer is start with the 5 a.m. club.
Okay, great.
And people say, okay, McIntyre, I'll get up 5 a.m. in a 5 a.m. club, 5 a.m. handle, Monday through Friday. I said, no, bro, sis, it's 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're going to get a side hustle, let's say you got a real job, right? A real job, and you're working 9 to 5, great. And you want to start a side hustle, okay? If you get up and like ready to go at 5 a.m., 5:10, 5:15, I wouldn't go any later than 5:30 a.m., you're ahead of the game. You're ahead of the rest of the world. And you plan that out and have your list. Every morning, have your things to do list or however you do it.
Right.
Sometimes I do it old fashioned. Sometimes I just email myself or text myself. But have your list. Make sure you put it in your calendar and get after it. And then by the time 8:30 rolls around, you're in the car, ready to go. You got your makeup on, you got your hair curlers, you got your your eyelash stuff or your eyeliner. Don't be putting it on while you're driving down the street. Okay, like a lot of women I see doing with their lipstick while they're driving down the street. No bueno. So you get to your 9 to 5, give it 100% at your 9 to 5. Don't slack off because you get fired. Now you're out of money. Then you get into panic mode.
Right.
You get off at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. It's not a time to hang out with your friends. Okay, it's not. You're not going to be with your friends, and you probably don't have time to do anything else. You grab something to eat and you get after it, and you work from 6 o'clock until maybe 10 o'clock at the latest on your side hustle, and then you start doing it again the next day. And this is how you do it. And what you need to do is commit to a minimum of 90 days to get that thing launched. And it takes a lot. And then on Saturday and Sunday, it's all hands on deck. It's the deal. Here's the other key thing too, I think, Brianna, is find a running buddy.
Yeah.
And you want to explain what a running buddy is?
So how I see a running buddy is someone that you can partner up with. They may not necessarily be your business partner. They could be, but there's someone you partner up with who you can share everything with about what's happening within your business or even like your job as you're trying to either A, build another source of income or B, move out of that job. And so they're just that person who can support you in the process and you support them as well. And they're usually someone at your level. It's not someone who is like way ahead of you or way below you, either that could be in success or it could be in experience, something like that. That's
Good.
how I see it.
100%. The other thing too, sometimes it is good to have them in the business. And if they like the business and they want to be a part of the business,
for sure.
that's really good. That's a really good running buddy. And doesn't mean you make them a partner,
right?
But you can bring them into the business. Now, doesn't mean you don't make them a partner either. For instance, let's talk about the HVAC deal. Okay. We started an HVAC deal. We started out with the name of the company be OMAC HVAC because our technician is named Omar and I'm Mac, MAC or MC. Easy, right? Well, so we started doing this, and I had a few friends out there, and Stacy, my wife, said, I think we should talk to Jacob Jones. And great friend of ours, known him for a while, did Next Level Experience back in 2019. Anyways, great guy, a believer, hard worker, has a big family here in Texas. So we called him. He was really interested, and he had a friend named Tidius. Okay, Tidius McLaughlin, very talented, very educated.
Also did
NLE. Anyways, these guys are really good. They're in their early 30s, and they know. Tidius knows all about social media, all about getting leads and so forth. So, and he's got a very successful business as well. And so does Jacob. And Jacob is a great salesperson.
Yeah.
And he's willing to learn. So all this came together, and we kept thinking, well, this came together easy. So what's that tell me? God's in this.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to do an HVAC company. Okay. Didn't want to. My wife wanted to do an HVAC company. She got the Holy Spirit anointing, and it came upon her. Now, is she going to crawl up inside that attic? No. Never. And in fact, she'll probably be watching from, her high tea place somewhere, at the Adolphus. But the point is, we've got this team that came together supernaturally. And I made Omar, okay, I gave him 5% of the company right off the rattle. And I put out there with Tidius and Jacob also an equity position. And the reason is 2 reasons. Number one, I want them to be bought in. I want to bless them in this, but more, I want them to have ownership so they come in and they're owner of the company, and it makes a difference. Now, do I do that in all businesses? No. But in this one I did. And because I don't know, the only thing I know about HVAC, okay, is that we had 8 units in our house, and when one went down, it was $12,000. I knew that.
That you feel that in your soul.
Yes. And so when you have 3 or 4 of them go down, it puts a dent in your lunch money that week. So, anyways, that's that. And now the other one that we're doing is our insurance deal. We're getting back in the insurance business. It's been 20 years since I've been in the insurance business.
You've had a 20-year break.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was never wanting to get back into this, okay? Never, ever. And I was talking to Michael, our producer, and it's changed. It's changed dramatically for the better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm really excited about the change, and we can talk about that.
That's awesome. I like hearing that you feel like it has changed for the better.
Yes, and I just realized that.
Yeah, okay, so tell me about that, because this is brand new, audience. He always would act like it didn't.
Everything's done virtually.
Okay, yeah.
That's what's changing. When I was in the insurance business, especially when I first got in back in the Stone Age, we didn't have cell phones. We had to stop at a gas station or a place and use a payphone. And then you had to put in your MCI card for when you're doing long distance, which was like a 22-digit code. It was crazy, man. It's amazing we did what we did. But, so, there's 254 counties here in Texas. I've been to every one of them, okay? And I remember when I was out selling, when I first got into business, I would drive 1,500, 1,600 miles a week. And I remember people say, "Are you testing road tires?" I felt like it, but I was making great money, and this is back in 1985, 1986, 1987. I was making $200,000 a year, which back then that was real money, and so I was really good at it. But nowadays you don't have to do that, and so we're gonna take. And we ended up building our agency. We had 40 states. We did $3 billion worth of insurance. Did really well. Sold the business in 2007. So. And I didn't want to get back into it because it was hassle. Some of it was really, really good. Some of it was litigious. Some of it was just, highly regulated.
Yeah.
But it's changed, and it's changed for the better. And they've gotten more streamlined. And so what I'm finding out is these Gen Zs want to be in the insurance business.
Fascinating.
When I was a Gen Z age, 25, 26, if I told somebody I was selling life insurance, it was like you were a pariah. Nobody wanted to be around you.
Because they thought you were going to
try to sell them. I'd go in, "What do you do?" "I'm an insurance agent." Oh, everybody walked away. I was sitting at the bar by myself.
Yeah.
And so, but nowadays, it's completely different.
Interesting. Okay, so as you go back into the industry, because I'm aware of your potential traumas from the industry, how do you view that? Especially because you are not a millennial, you're not Gen Z.
Your mother says we're Gen X, but I don't know about
Generation
that.
Jones.
Generation Jones.
Whatever that is. Look it up. It's interesting. It says a lot. It says a lot about them. But it's a funny little descriptor.
Reminds me of a commercial back in the day with NBA. They had Basketball Jones. All right.
Okay, so as a mature individual, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, whatever, how do you go back into this industry, and how do you look at that?
What's interesting is just yesterday, okay, I'm looking at the stuff that the insurance company is sending out, their sales techniques and all this stuff. You remember we were at the coffee shop, and I said, "What?" And I gave this thing to you, and it was a nice deal about email, and it had some graphics on it. And I said, "Brianna, what's the matter with this email?" Okay. And listen, I'm not your social media expert, right? And I'm not your fact checker or spell checker. Okay, because
we fact check him.
Yes, because there's a lot of fact checking going on with the stuff I write. And so, but what was interesting is here this multi-billion-dollar company sends out this email, and I'll just tell you, and I love these guys, and they were, so they wanted, it's talking about what we're doing here, and it said in the next 24 years, it said in the next 24 years, there's $124 million wealth transfer to the next generation, which is the millennials.
That would be very depressing.
That's a small segment of the population. And so then it had a footnote. So I scrolled down to the footnote, and it says $124 trillion. Trillion dollars, right? So I knew that. I thought it couldn't be right. And so I emailed the company and the two people, and they were so nice. And so that's different. I could email them and say, "Hey, I know, I make mistakes all the time, but I think this is a typo, And they said, "Good catch, Michael." Kind of like my Chat GPT tells me when Chat, makes a major faux pas, and well, that cost me about 20 grand.
Thanks, Chat.
Thanks, Chat. Good catch, Michael. And Chat's such a kiss ass, really is, right? Chat.
I'm going to tell this to you calmly. and gently.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you.
That's what chat says.
I want you to pause now.
And chat tells me, breathe, Michael. I thought, you've been talking to Stacey McIntyre.
Sometimes I have to feel like I convince chat that, hey, look, I'm okay. I'm not as fragile as you think I am.
Because we share a chat. Right?
Right. So I'm sure it picks up on
Yeah,
it.
chat's like, this company.
Y'all are crazy. This is some
cray-cray family here. But listen, I'm nice to chat because one of these days they're going to take over this damn planet. And I want to know that I'm never going to cuss out chat. Okay?
Hopefully not. Okay.
Right.
But so, okay, and what was funny is last night I was looking at the material from that company, and very clearly on their marketing material, it said $124 trillion. And I was like,
right.
You know.
But on their email.
Yeah, it was just
so somebody in social media, dropped the ball.
Yeah.
But what was nice is that, look, there is a huge opportunity here for us. Okay. Now, do I want to spend the next 20 years doing this? No. But I do think the next 5 to 10 years is going to be really, really a possibility that's going to be great. Because look, there's like 12,000, 10,000 people turning 65 in this country every day.
Yeah.
And so that boomer population is coming in bigly.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be tremendous opportunity. So my point is, I was telling Michael, our producer, I said, listen, what I'm interested, these Gen Z guys, which our friend Brandon, who's bringing this whole thing in, which is another God thing. He got a great word on this deal. He's got 25 people from his 20 to 25 people, age 25, that are coming into this business from his church. And he said they're excited. They want to be in community. They want to be in the office. So working from home is passe for these people.
Yeah.
They want to have an office. He's going to get an office, and we're going to start selling this via virtually. And so the income that these people can make is life-changing income.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking about a couple $1,000s a month. We're talking $15,000 to $50,000 a month some of these guys can make. So we're really excited about this opportunity. We got a great company, and this helped my brother help me come into this process. And we're going to also generate leads. And the key to this business, and in any business today, if you're out there trying to start a side hustle, is leads.
Mm-hmm.
My late father-in-law, he taught me this back in, it was 1983 it's leads. It'll be that way this week. It'll be that way next year. It'll be this way 100 years from now.
Yep.
You've got to have leads. And the beautiful thing about social media, it's instant.
Mm-hmm.
Back in my time, like I've shared before, we'd mail out, 100,000 pieces of mail, and it would be 4 to 6 weeks to get the full response. If you just spend $1,000 on ads after you run A/B tests, you're going to get the results back now.
Yeah.
Like, within a week, within 5 days, within 3 days, you can start making money on that. So if you're going to do a side hustle, know how to run your meta ads. If you want to, I think last night they were asking me about that. I think, social media is the easiest way. Have something that you solve a problem for other people.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a huge, big thing like that. Digital assets. Archives. It solves a problem for the boomers to put all their stuff onto a disc or what is that thing called?
Like
a stick.
Yeah, but it's more like,
is it a Fire Stick?
I would say Dropbox.
Like, Dropbox, whatever.
Like
it puts it on Google. And it's in the cloud up there. And so your whole kids, your ancestors, your great-great-grandchildren will pull this stuff out of the cloud.
Your ancestors can pull it up.
They can pull it up.
Are we going, that sounds like Mulan. All right.
I like that show. Mulan was good.
Mulan was a good movie.
It was really good.
It was a good movie.
It was good.
Although,
I'm a Disney crazy. Growing up, we are all into the Disney stuff. As soon as that stuff came out, man, we were the first ones in line.
So, do you feel like Disney's going to turn around?
Yes, they're getting a new CEO, and I think they've already got one.
Is it going to be less woke?
Yes.
How do you know?
Because I just feel it.
You're feeling it.
Because I think I'm a stock market guy, and I'm watching the stock market. And I think it's coming back. So yes, I do. I think they really shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
With a lot of different things. But yeah, I do think they've realized that. I mean, that one movie that came out with who was it? The guy that Buzz Lightyear.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the lesbian thing going on in there.
Mm-hmm.
No bueno. That did a major.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, well, I'm going back. So are you ready to?
Yes.
Okay. How? So you didn't answer the question. The
Okay,
trauma
Your Honor.
question. The trauma question.
About the
Okay, so the
insurance
trauma
business.
of insurance. Okay,
Yeah.
and now you're coming back to it. So do you just kind of forget it, or do you have any triggers, or what does that look like for you? Or are you like, okay, it's been 20 years, I'm over it? Like,
Yeah, pretty much over it. I do think that, and when you say trauma, I guess, the insurance business was really good to us.
right,
Really good.
right.
But there was some difficult times.
Mm-hmm.
As in my book, you can read about that in The
Right.
Next Level Life, available on Amazon everywhere. But
You can
yeah,
also buy it directly from us.
yes, you can, and get a signature. And so, I think, in the past, it was a difficult time. I remember one of the things that really was difficult for us is that the Security Exchange Commission wanted to make annuities a security. Okay. And that's what we were selling. We were selling annuities. We were selling, I don't know, $10-15 million a week in annuities back then. And so they sued us, and the Security Exchange Commission sued us and said that these annuities, indexed annuities, are securities, and they're not. And so we spent about $2 million on fighting that lawsuit, and we won in summary judgment. Now, for those of you who understand that means it's a good, quick kick in the balls to the Security Exchange Commission, because they lost, and we made case precedent. In fact, it was funny when I was writing precedent.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Fact checker.
Yes, listen, I was a history major. So,
Yes, you were.
And you were the reason I am.
SMU history major. Well spent, $300,000. I love that. And so, look,
you spent $300,000 so I could fact check.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's why we have
it's a bad ROI right there.
Well,
I'm sorry.
That's, maybe so. Maybe so. What,
Go ahead.
Where was
Case precedent.
Oh, case precedent. Yeah. So when I wrote up my book, Next Level Life, the editors fact checked it. I didn't know they were.
Right.
And they did. They said, this guy is, is this real? Is this really real? And it is. It's in the law. It's in, Addison Insurance Marketing, ETAL. And so we made that happen. And what bothered me about it wasn't the fact that we won. I was so glad we won. That saved the insurance industry hundreds of billions of dollars.
Okay. What year was that?
Oh my gosh. Probably it was 2003 or 4.
Okay.
Probably. And, but what chapped my butt was that I passed the hat. Hey, anybody want to help out here? And, we spent, a lot of money on this, and they all, no.
Yeah.
No.
So, okay, passing the hat back then, was that like phone calls?
Yeah, it was phone calls. And I think we had email. I'm not sure. I think we did.
Yeah.
And saying, hey, we did this here. And everybody was, well, our policy, our annuity, our insurance product is totally different than that one, which was totally malarkey.
It's
BS. And so, anyways, that I got over that. But that was probably one.
Okay.
And so, like right now, what really excites me about this possibility is this product is great. I tried back in 2006, before I sold the company, is to start this product. And I had a great company down in Waco, albeit a small company. And it didn't work out. I think they got nervous because we were going to send them a lot of premium. And not that they didn't want premium, but sometimes companies can't handle that much premium.
Yeah.
Because we were a big deal.
Yeah.
And so now things are different. And the company that we're going in with here wants the premium, wants the business.
Yeah.
And they've got a great product for the senior market, which is really, really, I'm excited about. Yeah.
Okay, so it's interesting to me because I like to look at life in a narrative format. Like, okay, so obviously I think God is writing the story, Not that I think he doesn't make the bad things happen, but because there's free will. Anyways, that's a whole other thing. But he's guiding the plot overall on some level. And so looking at that, so interesting that was kind of like the end of your career at that point of insurance.
The beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end.
Yeah.
And so then that was like a foreshadow to what would be
Ultimately come out. Right.
And so it's just interesting to me looking at that and seeing how God was like, I don't know, setting that up in a way.
Yeah, because I didn't give my life to Jesus till 2007.
Right. Well, and so that I was having a conversation this last week with a friend about how and we're both in our 30s, early 30s, and we're talking about how if we look both like at our parents, I'm not saying this smoothest way. So if we look at our parents and we see everything that they've done over their careers, then what does that tell us? And what it tells us is don't be stuck on one thing. And don't be afraid to explore something in your personal life like that's interesting to you, because it could serve you in the long run, career wise. So there's kind of that, like, not that I don't think that people need to necessarily completely follow all of their passions. I think that's kind of, I don't know. I don't think that's always the way for everyone. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you got to get focused. You got to be focused. And go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, what were you going to say?
Well, I did see this. I saw someone famous give this advice to like a young person, and they said, you really need to know what you're talented at, and you need to actually do that.
Yeah, and
what are your thoughts on that?
100%. My talent was leadership and motivation and sales, and also putting the aces in their places. One of the things that I would do for coaching, and with churches, with businesses, is sometimes people are in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
And so be able to see that and help move people around to the right, keeping their aces in their places is a big thing. But I do think, I think business goes where it's wanted, and you have to create a mousetrap, is what we say in business, that people want to come in, and you want to make sure that it's done accurately, it's done well, and there's a process in that. It just doesn't happen on day one.
Right.
It doesn't happen on day one. It takes sometimes a few months to figure it out, and even maybe a couple years, but it can happen. And so if you focus on, I always say focus on the prize, right? Don't get distracted. And a Jewish man told me, Hal Altshuler, God bless him, God rest his soul. I know that makes you laugh.
No, it doesn't. No, it just, I'm always like, there's the Catholicism.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah, that's my upbringing.
It's funny.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but
it's not bad.
Hal would always say, and he would always say, Michael, he says, you put your blinders on. Put your blinders on, okay, and figure out your plan, measure twice, get mentorship, figure it out, then put your blinders on. Don't look left, don't look right, and give this thing 3 years, he said back then. And this is back in the early 80s, mid 80s. Nowadays, you got to give it a minimum of a year, but you put your blinders on. And at the end of that time, if you're not producing, if there's no fruit, then, you need to cut bait. In what we call it, either fish or cut bait. But you got to put your blinders on. You got to focus, because you can't look at every shining object that comes along, right?
Yeah.
Because if you do, you're going to dilute your time, your experience, your money, and you're going to create more chances for failure.
Okay, but I want to go back to something. I'm sorry. And this is a more personal question. How many times have you not wanted to use your talent to make money? Because I feel like that's...
Do you see me doing that?
It's not that
I might have a blind spot here, daughter. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm asking. I just want you to sit with that question, like, because I think this is like a fathering question, like, for people who are listening. It's a relevant thing, because so here, let's turn it around.
Ask it again.
No. I'm gonna ask you. Okay, what do you think my talents are?
You've got terrific marketing skills.
Okay.
You came up with the name of our new agency. Okay, you come up with great names. You got a gifting for that. You're also really good at focusing on administrative issues and fixing those problems. But I think your number one skill is marketing.
Okay.
I do.
So, do you feel like and this is, I mean, this won't change anything about what I'm doing or anything like that. Am I in my talent? Am I doing the thing that I'm talented at?
I think you are probably 80%.
80%. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So turning it around on you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your talents, leadership, sales, marketing,
Yeah. Risk
risk-taking.
risk
Okay.
taking.
Okay. How often do you not want to do those things to make money? In the sense of more of a feelings sense. Are you ever like, I'm over it? Like if you don't feel like you have the right vehicle?
Well, okay. So I didn't want what. Yeah. You've got it. There's a horse, the famous horse. There's a movie about it too called Secretariat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what was the name of that movie? Do you remember?
Secretariat.
I said Secretariat. I'm there. All right. So
Secretariat.
great movie. I would really strongly recommend it because I remember I was alive when all this stuff was going on. And you've got to have a good horse.
Right.
Okay. You've got to have a winning horse. Now, to even have a shot at the title or the shot, at the sweepstakes or whatever it is, right? The Kentucky Derby. So, but secondly, you got to have a good jockey.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You can't have just some, rando showing up there, that's half drunk in a tank and getting on Secretariat.
Right.
Because it's not going to work.
Right.
But so you got to have these two combinations. So I'm excited about what we're coming into with the insurance deal. I'm a little nervous about HVAC because I don't quite get it.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is called getting out of my comfort zone, which I constantly coach people on.
Right.
So I don't mind it because it is good. But as far as my talents, I don't see me making a lot of talents, using my talents to make money in HVAC. Okay. Except for, putting the aces in their places in leadership.
You're able to bring the container for the system.
That's right. And so now I don't see myself out there, talking to Joe Sixpack, about his, 2-ton, 4-ton carrier.
No, that's
unit.
not going to happen.
I don't know. Okay. Don't want to know.
I don't want him to do that.
Right. Although I will climb up in an attic.
Yeah.
And just, maybe for social media.
Sounds like some people we know.
Yes, it does. So I digress. But I think I like motivation. I like to inspire. I like getting people ready. And I like to coach people and teach them about sales.
Okay.
I do. I enjoy that. And so, I enjoy that. What I don't enjoy is the process that we're in now, getting everything together with the lawyers, with the filing, with the state, with all the regulation, with the insurance company. It's a big pain in the butt. Okay.
Right.
But I know it's a necessary thing to get done in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Right.
So we can then have fun and do what I want to do.
Well, to me, it feels like we've been doing this fire drill for the last year and a half.
Easy.
Same over and over again with different situations.
Right.
And so I beg to ask the question for myself. I'm like, oh, okay, are you getting any better at this? And so I'm asking that, and I'm asking myself, and I'm really I need to ask Holy Spirit to like rewire my neural pathways towards that beginning again, because I think that's the key to life. But so from what I've observed in you with your talents, I think what you operate, your talent is like what comes naturally to you, obviously. And I know that's obvious, but what I've observed in you is exactly what you illustrated. If you don't have the right horse, then it feels futile. Yeah. And you're kind of like, okay, like it's not doing anything. It doesn't bring you life. But yeah, it is about finding that right horse. And so I do think that sometimes people are extremely talented in things that they just don't even, I don't know. I mean, do you think everyone enjoys their talents or no?
They should. I think they.
Do you think there's something wrong if they are not enjoying it?
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do. I think that they're not
in reality.
They're not in reality, or they're in denial, Okay. And it's not the river in Egypt.
So,
right? And so they're like, I don't want to go there. Listen, if you're really good to be, if you're really good in accounting, you're a master in accounting, you can crunch numbers with the best and better than a Swiss, Jewish guy over there in, India, and that's what you do to make it all happen, then that's what you should do. Because you if you're good at that. And generally the things that you're good at, you enjoy. Right. I do believe that. Right. Also, if you can run to 40 yards, in 4 seconds and you can catch a football, then get your butt on the gridiron and
do
go
it.
and have fun and go make a ton of money. So I think if you're in your talents, then you should be able to make a lot of money in that talent. If you're exerting yourself and if you're not lying to yourself, because a lot of people, what happens is the enemy, Satan, Beelzebub, will come in there and say, oh, this kid's talented. So I'm going to tell him some lies, make him insecurity, make him not want to do that. And so he fails dramatically because of the insecurities.
Yeah.
Right. Or the fear of rejection.
Yeah.
All that's not from Jesus. Okay.
Right.
Jesus, John 10:10, the enemy came to kill, steal, and destroy, but Jesus came to give us life abundant.
Yeah.
And life abundant is knowing your talents, your God-given talents, and everybody's got them. God gives all of us gifts. We all have gifts, and they're non-revocable, okay? Right. Even if you don't believe in God, he still gave you a gift. And so if you've got that gift, and one of the things that I really enjoy doing is being in the next level experience. I really, although it's gruelingly, emotionally, physically straining, but it's what I get life from that.
For sure.
Because I like to see people get to that next level.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that tremendously. So if you do have these great talents, stop lying to yourself.
Right.
Or get a coach to help you find them.
Right.
And get out there and make your first $1 million.
Right. Okay. So going back to, I don't know why I'm so focused on the talent thing. I just think it's something that people, there needs to be some dialogue about it or whatever. Maybe I just need to talk about it. So, okay, there's sometimes when someone has raw talent, obviously, and that's that is what we're talking about, having your God-given raw talent in something. How often do you think it would be really good? And let's use me as an example. Okay, so you say one of my talents is marketing. None of this is, did I want to do, I took an advertising class in college and I loved the idea of it. Like that was super fun to me. And I loved Mad Men, that whole, and that whole idea of like coming up with the creative process and things like that. However, I had other loves. I really loved art history. And I think if you look at art history and if you really think about it, there is an aspect of marketing in that, because basically what I would do is you would get the historical facts, you'd look at a painting or whatever, and then you would BS your way into this is why this comes together. So it was marketing in its own way. Okay.
So did you enjoy going to the Uffizi and all that stuff?
Yeah, I did. But wait, hang on. This is not my question.
My spent a lot of money going there.
I know you did. So that was your investment in my marketing career. Okay, but I don't work in purely marketing, obviously. So my question is, someone like me, do you think it would be helpful if I did take marketing classes, or do you think that it would kind of ruin that like natural flow?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think, I never discourage people from getting more education. I think it's important. But nowadays, you don't have to take classes. You can get on YouTube and figure this stuff out. You know, I mean, it's all there. So you're an alumni SMU, go take a course, see if you like it. I don't think it's a bad idea. And especially with the internet, with AI, with all these sort of things, 100%. And we've learned a lot. But also, we've also learned how to, navigate Upwork. Right. Oh, for sure. And, we got, 15 Pakistanis, that help us out on this any given day. So I think there's a lot. The fulcrum that we have today is massive. And I think what I'm concerned is the Gen Z and the millennials don't see it because it's a natural part of their life. Okay.
That's true.
So they're missing what's right in front of them. Right. Okay. And so, I think
that's a good point.
If they really, because man, like I'm telling you, marketing today is so easy as far as economics go, and the ability to go on like 5 different platforms in 10 minutes and make this thing happen, right? And you can find out if you're going to crash or burn relatively quickly with maybe just spending $500, right? And not spending $500,000, which I've done before. Right. I've spent $500,000 on a TV commercials. Okay. And I got the big goose egg on that deal. And the only reason I did it is, number one, ego. And let me just tell you this, America. Ego is not your amigo. Okay. Number two is I wanted to have this. I just wanted to be more legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I figured television commercials were, which is totally bunk. And so that flopped. I spent this money and, got 2 leads off this thing. So it was a huge flop. So I think, you really, today, you can run 2 commercials on Meta, right?
Yeah.
Spend $500
Yeah.
and find out if this thing's going to go.
Way more than any.
Oh my gosh.
Sure. It's amazing.
It's amazing. And I think these Gen Zs and the millennials are missing, not all of them. Obviously, there's some out there killing it, making millions of dollars, but there's not as much. There's more that can do it. So if you're a millennial, Gen Z, you want a side hustle, it's in your fingertips. And that's why I always tell people, go seek wisdom, measure twice, cut once. Don't be like Lot and have his wife look back because you're gonna fail.
Right.
You're gonna
sure.
You're gonna face plant.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this a long time and I still face plant. Yeah. Okay. But that's where the byproduct of success comes from.
Okay. So then I want you to give me advice in, okay, how would you tell me to, because when you're talking about the marketing that you're talking about, I don't know if I'm necessarily talented naturally in that, like the technical aspects. Okay.
Oh, as far as running ads?
Yes,
and so
that
forth?
sort of thing. Okay.
Yeah, maybe you learn that.
Right.
That might be something good to learn.
Okay, so what would you tell me from what you know I'm good at? What's my next step of honing in on my skill?
Yeah, I think, it's just like we're going into this insurance deal. I think knowing these ads, and we're going to have, we're going to shoot a commercial, just for Meta. We're not going to spend, I think we're going to spend, $2,000 maybe on this thing instead of $500,000. And it's going to be much more effective. So I think, knowing, and you're going to learn a lot in this process as we're going to learn a lot, right? And, we're blessed to have somebody that knows how to do this. It's going to be on our team. It's going to be part of the deal. So, yeah, you can learn from that. And if it interests you, then you can go in more. If it doesn't interest you, say, okay, I'll let somebody else do that. Because look, one of the things that I learned is I need to hire smarter people than myself. I need to have people around me that know more. I know what I know, and I don't need to know what they know.
Right.
I let them know what they do, and that's why I pay them money.
Right.
So, yes, I think it's good to have working knowledge of that. I've got working knowledge of the law, but I don't have a JD.
Right.
Okay. Right. I do know a few things. Yeah. I have a working, knowledge of,
So it's like having that working knowledge in your bank is good.
I think so.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be, you don't have to get obsessed with it.
Right.
Unless like I remember when AI was really coming into vogue here, 4 or 5 years ago, and there was a couple people that man, they're so obsessed with it and they had all this stuff. That's what they liked. And they went all in and did really well in it. But, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. That's just too deep of a rabbit hole. Listen, if I can't deal with chat or Gemini, then I'm fine.
Yeah. And I think that I think what you're saying is good. I do think it's good to go it's funny how in life we do have these specialties, and if you're going to look at it through obviously how medical doctors are, they go and specialize.
That's right.
And that's a whole commitment. I have so much respect for that.
But the point is made. And
is
that's
specializing.
Right,
yeah.
specializing.
And so, and you do have to, and those doctors, they find their interest. They find that thing. They know they want to be a doctor, but then they're like, no, that's what I really, really want to obsess over. Right. And so it's like finding your obsessions in a way. And so for me, I would say, and I'm only bringing this up because maybe this helps enlighten
somebody else.
Yeah, helps them kind of open up their brain on this part of the process. But for me, I love knowing what's current. Okay, so what are people thinking? What are they thinking? And one of the ways I keep tabs on this, and love it or hate it, is TikTok comments. And you can understand the psychology of humanity right now in a comment section. And that's where people are at, I'm not everyone's there, obviously, but there's a certain segment that hangs out there, and you get a quick poll on how do people think. And so my point is, I think understanding how people think is probably, for me, something that drives the marketing, that part of my interest.
And that's why you're attracted to it.
Right.
And I think that's really good. Now, the only reason I know anything is because you guys tell me like what Riz is or what, my person is, or, because I don't know any of this stuff, or,
Well, we don't even know it's a thing, and then we're telling you. And I mean, I'm 34 years old, so I'm so behind, I'm sure, on everything. But
Brecca's kind of up to date.
well, she is, and then I think I have surprised her. Sometimes she's like, "You know a lot on TikTok," and I'm like, "That's scary. That's bad.
Yeah,
I probably need to go on a little fast." But
well, one of the things, and I think I've shared this with our audience before. If you're in business, okay, and you've got a business, you need to have a 20-something-year-old around you in that business.
Have a pulse.
Because you need to know what's coming next.
Yep.
And the 20-something-year-olds,
they
know what's coming next. Listen, if you're 40, you have no clue what's going to run your ass over in the next year, because they know what's coming next. And I learned that years ago at a strategic marketing section. Strategic coach went up to Chicago, Illinois, paid $10,000 for a day. And that's what I took away from it. That's all I took away.
And it served you.
It did. It served me really well. Yeah.
I think to the point that I've totally zoned in on, of like, how do you continue to refine your talents? I do want to point out that you have done that over time a lot. So you've had, when I was younger, you had some life coaches. You had, you did receive.
Oh, I did.
You received formal coaching, and so my point is that you are a leader, and so then you sought to refine that further and further, and you're always seeking to refine that. And so I see that in you, and I think that is something that has made you very successful, is being able to continue. You're like, all right, okay, fine, I'll go get a PhD in leadership. I'll keep on learning this.
Yeah.
And I say PhD in leadership tongue in cheek, but I feel like it's what God has put on your life is leadership. And do you always do it perfectly? No. And that's okay. I'm not
99.9% of the time. 99.9%.
But you know how to what makes a good leader. You know how to help people become a good leader, because you are always willing to go under that microscope again, no matter how painful it is.
Yeah.
And so that, I would say, that is you are a masterclass in learning what that looks like.
Well, thank you so much for the acknowledgement and the compliment. But one of the things you brought up, which is really good, is I did have coaches.
Yeah.
Okay. My late father-in-law was one of them, and he was brutal. Brutal. Okay. But I knew that I was being taught by a master. And so I remember, at times I was very young. I was probably, 24, 25 years old, maybe even younger, 23. And, and I remember leaving out of that office and, tears. And so, but I knew this. And I've been embarrassed by myself, and that stuff has been pointed out to me in front of other people, and it was embarrassing. It was humiliating, but it was necessary. And I knew that at the time, although it hurt, like a dagger in the heart hurt. And so those are necessary. And that's why it's really important. If you want to be wealthy, if you want to make $1 million, if you want to make $100 million, if you just want to get out of debt, if you want to get your life going, you've got to humble yourself. You've got to be vulnerable, transparent, humble, and get coaching. Because if you're not coachable, okay, you're going to be a fat failure. Okay. Mother, father, shut the front door. Okay. You're going to be a big, fat loser. Okay. If you're not coachable. And I think that's the key to anybody's success in any part of their life, if you're coachable.
So when you see someone who is not coachable, what does that look like? What words are coming out of their mouth? What are they saying? What is their body language like?
Number one, they're a victim.
Okay.
Number two, they're in the blame game. Everybody else's fault. It's not theirs because this happened, that happened, and blah, 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 blah. The sun was in my eyes. The wind was blowing. The dog, ate my homework. Crap. Everything. Victimization, blame game. And number three, insecurities. Number four, arrogant AH. And that's their defense mechanism. everybody else is wrong. I'm right. Nobody gets it. Everybody's against me.
Kind
F
of.
you.
Okay, so what's the difference between like a lone, like someone who is a solo person, like, kind of on their own, and then someone who is like, and sometimes those solo people can really be like F you to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And because they have a twisted perception of what actually happens around them, and they don't see themselves rightly, and they don't see how they're showing up. What do you think? Do you think that person is ever really healthy? Those people who run solo,
If they get
like
coaching,
that? Okay.
if they get off their high box, get off their what do you call it? High horse.
Yeah.
And
The high box.
the high box.
Soapbox. Soapbox and high horse.
Soapbox. And humble themselves. It's all about humility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't humble yourself, if you don't swallow your pride,
Yeah.
okay, you're gonna be broke. And if you do happen to make any money, it's not gonna last very long.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be in a blame game, victimization, and you're gonna lose. So that's probably the best thing we said today.
Really?
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think? Hey, give us a hot take. Is that what you always like?
Well, or tell us what you thought.
Yeah. Come on, trolls. We're ready for you. All right. So let's wrap this up.
That's great.
Because it's been a great morning. And we're about 5 minutes over.
Yeah. We did good.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I think it was good. Share with us your thoughts.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. And if you want to, listen, if you want coaching, go to our website,
Yeah.
And check us out. It's what is it? Michael McIntyre.
TheMichaelMcIntyre.com.
TheMichaelMcIntyre.com. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, and what else? What else? TikTok. Oh man, we're killing it on TikTok.
Oh, really killing it.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Jesus is King. God bless you, and share this, subscribe. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching and listening.